The Impact of Words, a Journey into Mindful Speech. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? Perhaps a sharp comment made in frustration or a joke that hurt someone unintentionally. We've all been there, words spoken without thought, and once they leave our mouths, they're impossible to take back. Now, imagine if every word you spoke was infused with compassion, truth, and mindfulness. What if your words could heal rather than harm, connect rather than divide? This idea is at the heart of Buddhist teachings, where the power of speech is recognized not just as a means of communication, but as a tool for transforming our relationships, our minds, and our lives. Words have the power to create harmony or discord, to inspire or discourage, to build trust or tear it down. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to forget the weight of our words. But the Buddhist teachings on right speech offer us a path toward using our words wisely and compassionately. In this journey, we'll explore how we can align our speech with our highest values and bring more peace and clarity to our lives. But before we dive into the wisdom of the Buddha, let me ask you, have you ever thought about how your words shape your world? Exploring the power of words. In Buddhism, words are not just sounds or symbols that help us communicate, they are powerful forces that can shape our reality. Every word we speak carries energy, intention, and consequence. The Buddha understood that our speech is a reflection of our inner state of mind, emotions, and intentions. Just as a sculptor molds a statue from raw stone, we too can shape our relationships, self-image, and the world around us through the words we choose. The power of speech in the Buddha's teachings. When we speak, we reveal our minds. If we speak with kindness and mindfulness, we express clarity and peace. But when we speak with anger or ignorance, we reveal a disturbed mind. The Buddha taught that speech is a tool not only for connecting with others but also for developing inner peace and wisdom. The key is being aware of the effect our words have on others and the world around us. Imagine the difference between a conversation where someone listens intently, speaks with kindness, and offers thoughtful advice, versus a conversation filled with harsh criticisms or idle gossip. The first creates a space for understanding, healing, and connection. The second breeds misunderstanding, hurt, and separation. This is the power of words. They can either uplift or destroy, depending on how we use them. The Buddha's teachings on speech were not limited to avoiding harmful words but extended to cultivating speech that promotes wisdom, compassion, and harmony. Right speech, a cornerstone of the Eightfold Path, asks us to consider the intention behind every word we speak. It is a practice that helps us create relationships based on honesty, respect, and empathy. A personal reflection on the power of words. Let me share a story. A few years ago, I found myself caught in a situation where I felt misunderstood by a friend. Frustrated, I wanted to defend myself and express my frustration. But before I spoke, I remembered the Buddha's teaching on right speech. I paused and asked myself 3 questions: is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? I realized that while I wanted to express my frustration, I didn't want to create more tension. So, I chose my words carefully, focusing on expressing my feelings without blaming or criticizing. The conversation became an opportunity for mutual understanding and healing rather than an argument. This experience taught me the importance of mindful speech. Our words, when chosen wisely, can transform relationships and foster deeper connections. Underscore 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 underscore. Right speech in the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is the framework for ethical living in Buddhism, and right speech is an essential component of this path. The Buddha outlined specific guidelines for speech, not just to avoid harm, but to actively cultivate communication that nurtures peace, wisdom, and compassion. Right speech is more than just avoiding lies or harsh words, it is about speaking with intention, mindfulness, and compassion. Here are the key principles of right speech. 1. Avoiding false speech. Lying and deception distort reality, break trust, and create division. Honest communication builds trust and fosters deeper connections. 2. Avoiding slanderous speech. Gossiping or speaking ill of others harms reputations and relationships. Instead, we are encouraged to speak in ways that uplift and support others. 3. Avoiding harsh speech. Angry or abusive words cause emotional pain and can leave lasting scars. Speaking with kindness, even in difficult situations, helps create a peaceful atmosphere. 4. Avoiding idle speech. Wasting words on trivial talk, gossip, or unnecessary complaints can be draining and unproductive. Mindful speech is about focusing on what truly matters and speaking with purpose. By practicing right speech, we align our communication with our highest values and intentions. We become more mindful of the impact our words have, not just on others, but on ourselves as well. Right speech is an opportunity for inner transformation, as it helps us purify our thoughts and actions. Practical applications, actionable techniques for right speech. The teachings on right speech may seem simple, but they carry profound implications for our daily lives. The true challenge lies in applying these principles in real-life situations, especially when emotions are high or when we are caught in the whirlwind of everyday stress. Below, I'll share actionable techniques to incorporate right speech into our routines, backed by real-life examples to help bring these teachings to life. 1. Pause before speaking. One of the most powerful tools we have to practice right speech is to pause before responding. This brief moment of reflection can make all the difference between a harmful outburst and a compassionate, mindful response. The Buddha taught that our minds are often like muddy water. When we let our thoughts settle, clarity arises. Example: imagine you are in a heated conversation with a colleague who has just criticized your work. Instead of reacting immediately with defensiveness or frustration, take a deep breath. In that moment, ask yourself, is my response coming from a place of calm or anger? Would my words help resolve the situation or escalate it further? This pause can transform the conversation into an opportunity for understanding rather than conflict. 2. Speak with compassion, not judgment. The Buddha emphasized speaking with empathy and compassion. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations, but rather approaching them with the intention to help and heal, rather than to hurt or judge. We must remember that everyone is on their own path, and our words should reflect our recognition of the suffering and challenges that others may be facing. Example: a friend confides in you about a personal struggle, and you feel tempted to offer advice that may come across as critical. Instead of jumping to conclusions, listen deeply. When you respond, speak from a place of understanding and support. You could say, I hear that you're going through a tough time, and I admire your strength. If you'd like, I can offer some thoughts that might be helpful, or I can just be here to listen. By speaking with compassion, we show others that they are seen and heard, which can be incredibly healing. 3. Use words to encourage, not discourage. Our words can either build someone up or tear them down. The Buddha encouraged speech that fosters harmony and positive growth, rather than speech that causes division or self-doubt. This can be particularly powerful in the context of leadership, parenting, and teaching, where our words have a lasting impact. Example: think about how a teacher or manager speaks to their students or team members. Instead of focusing on mistakes, try highlighting the effort and potential. A manager might say, I see the hard work you've put in on this project, and I believe you can improve even more with some adjustments, rather than, this isn't good enough. Encouraging words motivate, uplift, and inspire growth, while discouraging words often lead to frustration and disillusionment. 4. Engage in meaningful conversations. One of the best ways to practice right speech is by engaging in conversations that are meaningful and purposeful. Avoid small talk or idle chatter that doesn't serve any productive or compassionate purpose. In Buddhism, right speech is about using communication to benefit others and ourselves. This means speaking with intention and direction. Example: instead of engaging in gossip about a mutual acquaintance, you could ask someone how they are truly feeling or engage in a conversation about something that matters to both of you. This shifts the energy of the conversation from trivial or negative talk to something nourishing and enriching. 5. Acknowledge and apologize for harmful words. Even with the best intentions, there may be times when we say something hurtful or unskillful. The key is to acknowledge the harm caused and apologize sincerely. This shows humility and a commitment to growth, both of which are integral to Buddhist practice. Example: if you find that you have spoken harshly to a friend or colleague, take responsibility for your words. You might say, "I realize that what I said earlier was hurtful, and I'm truly sorry. That was not my intention, and I want to be more mindful of how I speak moving forward." This act of accountability not only heals the relationship but also reinforces your commitment to practicing right speech. Challenges and solutions: overcoming emotional triggers. Practicing right speech is not always easy. It can be particularly challenging in moments of emotional turbulence or when we are triggered by stress or conflict. Our habitual responses, often driven by anger, fear, or pride, can push us to speak in ways that do not align with the principles of right speech. However, by acknowledging these challenges and implementing specific strategies, we can train our minds to respond with wisdom and compassion. 1. Recognize emotional triggers. The first step to mastering right speech is to recognize when we are emotionally triggered. Often, we speak harshly when we feel hurt, insecure, or threatened. By becoming aware of these emotional patterns, we can create a space between the trigger and our response. Solution: in the moment of heightened emotion, try to pause, take a few deep breaths, and observe the feeling. Are you angry? Frustrated? Hurt? By acknowledging the emotion, you can prevent it from dictating your words. The Buddha taught that awareness is the first step toward liberation, and this applies to our speech as well. 2. Reframe negative thoughts. Once we recognize that we are triggered, the next step is to reframe our thoughts. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can use the practice of mindful breathing or mentally repeat calming phrases to shift our perspective. Solution: if you are about to respond angrily to a colleague's criticism, try silently repeating a calming phrase like, "This too shall pass," or "May I speak with kindness." These affirmations help to center the mind and create space for thoughtful, intentional speech. 3. Practice self-compassion. Sometimes, our harsh words are a reflection of our own inner turmoil or dissatisfaction. Practicing self-compassion can help us become less reactive and more thoughtful in our speech. By treating ourselves with kindness, we naturally extend the same courtesy to others. Solution: when you notice that you're about to speak unskillfully due to negative emotions, pause and practice self-compassion. Gently remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes and that you are learning and growing. This mindset shift helps us to approach challenging situations with more patience and understanding. Conclusion and key takeaways. Right speech is an ongoing practice, and like all aspects of the Buddha's teachings, it requires mindfulness, patience, and consistent effort. The key to mastering right speech is not perfection but progress, gradually cultivating awareness of our words and their impact. By aligning our speech with the principles of truth, kindness, and purpose, we create a life of harmony and understanding. Key takeaways. 1. Words are powerful, they can uplift or destroy, so we must choose them wisely. 2. Right speech is part of the Eightfold Path, it involves speaking truthfully, kindly, and purposefully. 3. Mindful speech is transformative. By pausing, reflecting, and speaking with compassion, we can enhance our relationships and promote peace. 4. Challenges are part of the journey. Emotional triggers can make right speech difficult, but with awareness and self-compassion, we can overcome them. By applying the principles of right speech in our everyday lives, we not only improve our relationships with others but also cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and wisdom. May we all speak with the intention of creating a world filled with kindness, understanding, and love. Deepening the practice, a lifestyle of right speech. As we continue to practice right speech, it's important to recognize that this principle is not just a one-time effort or a checklist to tick off, it is a transformative lifestyle. The Buddha's teachings on speech call for an ongoing commitment to mindfulness and awareness in how we communicate with others and ourselves. When we deeply integrate right speech into our lives, it becomes part of our spiritual path, helping us grow in wisdom, compassion, and peace. 1. Mindfulness in everyday conversations. Right speech is not limited to specific moments or formal discussions, it permeates all aspects of our communication. From casual conversations with family members to professional exchanges with colleagues, every word we speak is an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Example: imagine a family dinner where everyone is chatting about their day. Instead of using this time to complain about your challenges or criticize others, try to shift the focus to positive experiences. Share something you're grateful for or something kind that someone else did. This shift can change the tone of the entire conversation, turning a mundane or potentially negative moment into one of connection and positivity. By practicing mindfulness in all conversations, we begin to see how much influence we have over the energy and outcomes of each interaction. Even in casual moments, we can choose to speak with integrity and love. 2. Aligning inner and outer speech. Right speech also invites us to align our external communication with our inner thoughts. Often, we may say one thing but feel or think another. This disconnect creates inner friction and can lead to inauthentic or unskillful communication. The Buddha taught that to truly speak truthfully, we must align our speech with our inner reality. Example: let's say someone asks how you're doing, and you say, "I'm fine," when deep down you're struggling. Although it may be tempting to offer a socially acceptable answer, this misalignment between inner feelings and outer speech can lead to feelings of isolation or frustration. Instead, a more authentic response might be, "I've been better, but I'm getting through it," which invites connection and honesty. When we align our inner state with our outer words, we cultivate authenticity and build deeper relationships based on trust and openness. 3. Speech as a reflection of our practice. The way we speak reflects the depth of our mindfulness and spiritual practice. When we actively cultivate right speech, we're also engaging in a practice of self-reflection. Every time we speak thoughtfully, we are reinforcing our commitment to living according to the Buddha's teachings. Example: a Buddhist monk once said, "Your words should be like jewels." When we take the time to consider the impact of our words and speak with care, we are not only cultivating better relationships but also enriching our own spiritual practice. Speech becomes an expression of our inner state of peace, mindfulness, and compassion. This practice of reflection helps us notice when we fall short of our ideals and encourages us to grow and refine our communication habits. It also reminds us that every interaction, whether with others or ourselves, is an opportunity for learning and improvement. 4. Creating a culture of compassionate speech. Right speech has the power to transform not only individual lives but entire communities. When we collectively commit to speaking kindly, truthfully, and purposefully, we create a culture that supports healing, understanding, and mutual respect. Example: consider a workplace where people are encouraged to speak with kindness and mindfulness. In such an environment, employees are more likely to communicate openly, resolve conflicts amicably, and support each other in challenging times. The ripple effect of this collective practice can lead to a healthier, more productive community. By fostering a culture of compassionate speech, we create spaces where individuals feel safe, valued, and understood, which in turn promotes greater harmony and cooperation. Integrating right speech with other Buddhist practices. Right speech is just one part of the Eightfold Path, and it is most powerful when practiced in conjunction with the other aspects of the path. As we continue to cultivate mindfulness, ethical conduct, and wisdom in our lives, our speech becomes an expression of these deeper spiritual practices. 1. Right view and right intention. The foundation for right speech begins with right view and right intention. If we see the world clearly, understanding the impermanent and interconnected nature of all things, and if we intend to act with compassion and wisdom, our speech will naturally align with these values. Example: if we approach a conversation with the understanding that all beings are interconnected, we are more likely to speak with kindness and respect. We would avoid harmful gossip, knowing that our words can cause suffering, and instead choose words that promote understanding and peace. 2. Right action and right livelihood. When we act with integrity and earn our livelihood ethically, our speech becomes more authentic. We begin to speak with a sense of purpose, knowing that our words reflect the values we embody in our actions. Example: a teacher who practices right action and right livelihood might use their words to guide students toward ethical conduct, helping them make wise decisions and cultivate virtues. Similarly, a leader in a community can use speech to inspire others to act in ways that support the greater good. 3. Right mindfulness and right concentration. Through the practices of right mindfulness and right concentration, we develop the clarity of mind needed to speak skillfully. By becoming more present and aware, we can better discern the most appropriate words to use in any given situation. Example: in a heated debate, mindfulness allows us to step back and reflect before responding, ensuring that our words are measured and thoughtful rather than impulsive. This mental clarity helps prevent unnecessary conflict and fosters an environment of respect and understanding. Final reflections: living a life of right speech. Right speech is not merely a set of rules to follow but a profound practice that can shape our lives and relationships in transformative ways. By using our words with mindfulness and compassion, we not only improve our communication but also embody the deepest aspects of Buddhist teachings. Ultimately, right speech is about more than just avoiding lies or harsh words. It's about creating an environment where truth, kindness, and understanding can flourish. It's a path that requires patience, self-awareness, and commitment. But as we continue to practice right speech, we will find that our words can become powerful tools for healing, connection, and spiritual growth. As you move forward, remember that every conversation is an opportunity to practice right speech. Whether you're speaking with a loved one, a stranger, or yourself, use your words wisely. Speak with compassion, speak with honesty, and speak with the intention of bringing peace to the world around you. By doing so, you will be walking the path of the Buddha, cultivating a life of wisdom, compassion, and joy. Overcoming challenges in practicing right speech. While right speech is a powerful tool for cultivating peace and wisdom, it's not always easy to put into practice, especially in the face of emotional triggers or challenging situations. Understanding the common obstacles we face and how to overcome them can help us integrate right speech into our daily lives more effectively. 1. The emotional trigger: reacting instead of responding. One of the biggest challenges in practicing right speech is the emotional trigger. When someone says something that sparks an emotional reaction in us, we may feel compelled to respond without thinking. This automatic reaction often leads to harsh words, gossip, or lying to protect ourselves or avoid discomfort. Example: imagine you're in a heated conversation with a colleague who criticizes your work. In the moment, you might feel defensive or hurt and may be tempted to fire back with a harsh remark or counterattack. This reaction not only damages the relationship but can also cause inner turmoil. Solution: the key is to create a space between the stimulus, the criticism, and your response. Through mindfulness, we can pause before reacting, allowing us to choose our words carefully. Take a deep breath, acknowledge your emotions, and then respond thoughtfully. Instead of retaliating, you might say, "I understand your point, and I'll take it into consideration. Let's find a way to work through this together." By practicing mindful awareness in moments of emotional intensity, we can prevent harmful speech and choose more compassionate responses. 2. The habit of gossip: speaking without purpose. Gossiping is another common challenge when it comes to right speech. It's easy to fall into the habit of talking about others, especially when we're trying to bond with others or alleviate our own stress. However, Gossip often causes harm by spreading misinformation or cultivating negativity. Example, during lunch with friends, someone might start talking about a mutual acquaintance's recent mistake. The conversation quickly shifts into gossip, with everyone adding their opinions or judgments. While this may feel like a harmless conversation, it can lead to misunderstandings and hurt feelings, potentially damaging relationships in the long run. Solution: to avoid gossip, we can ask ourselves, does this conversation contribute to understanding or peace? If the answer is no, it's a sign that we might want to redirect the discussion or choose not to engage. When we speak with intention, focusing on meaningful topics that foster connection or provide support, we break the cycle of gossip and cultivate more harmonious interactions. One practical approach is to share positive or constructive conversations. For example, instead of discussing someone else's mistakes, you could talk about a way to help them grow or celebrate their achievements. In doing so, we turn every conversation into an opportunity for kindness and positive engagement. 3. The challenge of self-talk, speaking kindly to yourself. Right speech isn't just about how we speak to others, it also applies to how we speak to ourselves. Negative self-talk can be incredibly harmful, reinforcing feelings of unworthiness, guilt, or frustration. Our inner dialogue can shape our mental state, and if we're constantly criticizing ourselves, it can prevent us from seeing our true potential. Example, after making a mistake at work, you might think, "I'm such an idiot. I'll never get this right." This type of harsh self-criticism not only undermines your confidence but can also lead to further mistakes due to the pressure you put on yourself. Solution: practicing right speech involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we extend to others. Instead of criticizing yourself, try to replace negative self-talk with more compassionate language. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm a failure," you might say, "I made a mistake, but I can learn from this and do better next time." By shifting our inner dialogue to one of compassion and encouragement, we begin to transform our self-perception and create a more supportive inner environment. 4. The fear of being honest, speaking the truth with love. At times, speaking the truth can feel uncomfortable, especially if we fear hurting someone's feelings or causing conflict. We might be tempted to avoid the truth or sugarcoat it to protect others. However, right speech calls for honesty, spoken with kindness and in a way that promotes understanding and growth. Example, a friend asks for your opinion on an outfit, but you think it doesn't look good on them. You might hesitate, afraid that your honesty will hurt their feelings. Instead of avoiding the truth or offering a false compliment, you could say, "I think the color is lovely, but I wonder if a different style might suit you better." This approach respects both the truth and your friend's feelings, offering feedback in a constructive and loving way. Solution: to practice right speech in these situations, remind yourself that speaking the truth is an act of love. When we speak with kindness and integrity, we can share our perspectives without causing unnecessary harm. The goal is to communicate in a way that uplifts others and promotes mutual respect. By finding the balance between honesty and compassion, we can become more effective communicators and foster deeper, more authentic relationships. Living the path, a call to action. Right speech is a continuous practice, one that requires mindfulness, patience, and a commitment to personal growth. As we reflect on the challenges and solutions outlined in this section, we begin to see that right speech is not just about avoiding harmful words, it's about cultivating a way of being that honors truth, kindness, and respect in every interaction. As you continue to integrate right speech into your life, here are a few actionable steps to help deepen your practice. 1. Start with awareness. Pay attention to the words you use, both with others and with yourself. Notice when you slip into negative or harmful speech, and gently redirect your thoughts and words to be more mindful. 2. Practice pausing. In moments of emotional reaction, take a breath before speaking. This pause gives you the space to respond rather than react, allowing you to choose your words with intention. 3. Focus on solutions. When discussing challenges or conflicts, try to shift the conversation towards solutions or understanding, rather than dwelling on the problem or criticizing others. 4. Be compassionate. Remember that right speech includes speaking with kindness, even when the truth is difficult to share. Approach every conversation with the goal of promoting healing, connection, and peace. 5. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on your speech. Did your words contribute to peace and understanding, or did they cause harm? Use this reflection to learn and grow, adjusting your approach for the future. By making right speech a daily practice, you will gradually notice how it transforms not only your relationships with others but your relationship with yourself. You'll find that your words become a powerful force for peace, compassion, and wisdom in your life. Conclusion and key takeaways. As we wrap up our exploration of right speech and its transformative power, it's important to reflect on the profound impact that mindful and compassionate communication can have on our lives and the world around us. By integrating the principles of right speech into our daily interactions, we can create a space of understanding, peace, and harmony, both within ourselves and in our relationships with others. The power of words, a tool for transformation. Words are not merely sounds or symbols, they carry immense power. As the Buddha teaches, our speech shapes our reality. Every word we speak has the potential to uplift or harm, to create connection or distance. Through mindfulness and self-awareness, we can choose to speak in ways that align with our deepest values and the higher path of wisdom. The practice of right speech invites us to be more intentional about how we express ourselves. It calls us to ask questions like, are my words serving the highest good? Are they contributing to peace and understanding? Are they rooted in truth and compassion? By making these considerations part of our communication, we move closer to embodying the Buddha's teachings in our everyday lives. Right speech as a reflection of right intention. Right speech, as part of the Noble Eightfold Path, is closely connected to right intention. When our intentions are pure and grounded in kindness, understanding, and respect, our speech naturally follows suit. The Buddha's teachings encourage us to cultivate intentions that promote the well-being of others, to foster a world of peace, and to reduce suffering. As you work with the practice of right speech, remember that it's not just about what you say, but how and why you say it. Your words should reflect your intention to create harmony and goodwill. This makes right speech not just a tool for personal growth, but a way to contribute to the greater good. Living the practice of right speech every day. Right speech is not something that can be mastered overnight. Like all aspects of the Eightfold Path, it requires consistent practice, patience, and a willingness to learn from our mistakes. The key is to keep returning to the intention to speak with kindness, truth, and mindfulness, even when it's challenging. Here are a few additional steps you can take to live out the practice of right speech. 1. Start with self-awareness. Throughout the day, notice when you're about to speak. Take a moment to ask yourself whether your words are necessary, kind, and true. 2. Listen deeply. Right speech isn't only about how we speak, but also how we listen. By being fully present and attentive when others speak, we create an environment of mutual respect and understanding. 3. Challenge unhelpful habits. If you notice patterns of negative or harmful speech, whether through gossip, judgment, or self-criticism, gently challenge these habits. Recognize them, let them go, and replace them with more mindful speech. 4. Create positive dialogues. Be the one to start conversations that promote connection, growth, and positivity. Whether it's offering a compliment, sharing a meaningful story, or asking thoughtful questions, you can use your words as tools for good. 5. Cultivate gratitude. Make a habit of expressing gratitude regularly. Saying thank you, offering praise, or simply acknowledging the good in others can create a ripple effect of kindness. Final reflections. In the end, the practice of right speech is a powerful means to not only transform our outer world but also our inner world. As we begin to align our speech with the qualities of the Buddha, truth, compassion, and mindfulness, we take a step closer to realizing a life of peace, wisdom, and freedom from suffering. The next time you are about to speak, ask yourself, will this contribute to harmony? Will this promote understanding? Is this aligned with my deepest values? By answering these questions with sincerity, you will be walking the path of right speech, creating an environment of peace and kindness in every conversation. Remember, each word we speak has the potential to shape our world. Let us choose our words wisely, speak with compassion, and be the change we wish to see through the power of mindful speech.